What's up, y'all? It's been a couple days. I mean, I guess nobody watches this, so there's nobody to tell this has been a couple days too. But it's been a few days. I have a couple friends now that I've been hanging out with. I have not really been talking to anybody online for a while, I guess. I used to spend a lot more time on Discord and those communities, but it's probably not a good use of time compared to the other stuff I have to do, like exercising, working, stuff like that. So yeah, the Puerto Rican girl that I talked about a few videos ago, I have been hanging out with her more. Um, it's been it's been nice. It's been really nice. And then I hang out with her friend. He is Mexican. He's pretty cool. And neither of them like really speak English. It's very weird going back to that part of myself. Although it's been more odd because I have issues with like being able to attach myself to reality to like be able to understand where I am. And I have been looking in the mirror lately, and it's been a struggle. Being able to speak two languages is like it's weird. It's a weird thing because the concept that there are countries all over the world, like for example, like a human being like can't understand like the concept of millions and billions, right? Like when somebody says you have $1 million, like we have like a relative idea of the purchasing power of $1 million, right? The few things that we could purchase in a list, probably like 10 things with $1 million, we can't actually fathom what $1 million would look like, especially in like lower denominations, right? Um, Even the concept of like what $1 million and hundreds would look like in a suitcase has been like a like almost a meme in many different movies. Anyway, the point is, um, I come from a tiny country with 4.5 million people in Central America, and I live in the United States. I speak two languages, and I have a life experience that is shared by like no one. Like no one has lived my life, for better or for worse, I guess. Whether that has been working farmland as a child or having, my grandpa was like an indentured servant, which is crazy for like this time period. Um, Visiting people in like the interior of the country, almost being arrested, um, being a YouTuber now, I guess. Like I I don't know what I am. Like I don't know. Like I look in the mirror and, I speak English and then, I look at myself, entonces hablo español, entonces, like I speak Spanish to myself then, and I look and I don't know what I am. It's not like a crisis of identity or something like that. It's like um I'm alone. I'm like so horrifically alone. But today was nice. I introduced the Puerto Rican girl to my mom. That was cool. I cooked for her and my mom and the Mexican friend, and it was cool. Like we all like sat around, like we walked a bit. Um, I worked today. I worked out, had a good workout. Like for all intents and purposes, it was like a good day. I wrote, the poems were nice, but um, I am I'm alone. I'm so alone. I saw my ex a couple days ago as well. Um, One of the reasons why I haven't recorded a video in a couple days, I guess. The ex that I was almost married to. Um, and that was a weird experience. The last things she said to me were frankly horrible. She said the worst things I've ever heard, from any human being ever to me, repeatedly. Probably like the last three conversations I've had with her have been just the worst things on the planet. And she had like a W-2 sent to my house, and I don't hate her, right? Like I'm not gonna like withhold like tax information from someone. So of course, I sent her a text and I was like, hey, I was like, I got this, whatever, come through and you can pick it up. And I saw her and she was like smiling, right? She was like at the door smiling, like this person that I spent like almost 8 years of my life with, that had essentially abandoned me and like not valued me and just said the worst things humanly possible for um I wouldn't say no reason, right? Like to some extent, like I understand the way she felt. Like I don't hate her for it, but it was just crazy. She was just like there smiling at me. And I like handed her the W-2 and she like looked at me and she was like, do I have any other mail? And I was like, nothing really important that I remember. And I was like, we weren't on like talking terms. I was like, what do you mean? Like, did I find any other mail? I was like, do you think I would have like talked to you? I was like, after like the stuff you said to me, I was like, do you not remember that? And she's like, oh yeah. Um, and it was just like looking like real like goofy. And I was like, well, I was like, you look good. It was good to see you. I was like, drive safe, I guess. Um, Wild, like actually insane. I just like, I guess I just don't know like how, I don't know how a person can be like so unaware of like the things they do to other people. Because like I understand I make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Like if I do something wrong and somebody's like, "Hey, like this is wrong," like I'll apologize for stuff I did wrong. Like I understand that. I don't under I've truly no idea how she was just there, just chilling. Um, it's like it was one of the most out of touch things I've ever seen. I was like shocked because like I mean like I don't think she's a bad person, but like god damn, um, how, like, you have you ever cared enough to, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, aside from that, spending time with my new friends, really cool. It's nice to finally be talking to like Spanish speakers again. It's honestly really crazy how long I was with my ex and she never learned Spanish. Um that didn't really hit me until like I started figuring out that like um yeah, the other Hispanic men that were like dating girls, the girls were like learning Spanish, like obviously to like talk to their families and shit. Um, and yeah, totally. I was like, oh yeah, I was like that makes, because I was talking to a girl, and she, like I was talking to her, and her Spanish is pretty good. Because I thought she was Dominican. She's like, oh, I'm not Hispanic. Like I'm halfway, half black. And I was like, oh really? She's like, yeah, I had a Hispanic boyfriend. She's like, so I made sure to like practice so I could talk to his family and stuff. And I was like, oh, and she's like, I made sure to practice, and I was like, oh, really? I was like, that's crazy. And she's like, is it really? She's like, how else am I gonna talk to his family? Like, how else am I gonna communicate with like the people he values? And I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, I was like, that's a pretty good point. Um, I was like, wow, yeah, that's pretty reasonable. That's a pretty reasonable thing to say. Um, anyway, point is, hanging out with Spanish speakers, talking to girls that speak Spanish. It's been nice. It's been a nice change of pace. Um, and it's been cool. Not everybody has to speak Spanish, but showing that kind of effort is nice. Anyway, point is, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know, expect more videos, guys. Today wasn't that bad of a day. I don't know why this video brought me down so much, but such is life.